All right, everyone. Welcome to the Endurance Nutrition Show. We are so excited to be here with Shannon. She works at Gnarly Nutrition. And she's going to tell us about herself and about how Gnarly started and what they're all about. So welcome.
Yeah, welcome, Shannon.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So as typical with our shows, we are going to have a little food segment. Today, this is what we are trying. So Shannon, tell us a little bit about this and why you love it.
Sure. So Gnarly Vegan is our vegan meal replacement. I am not a vegan. I am an omnivore. I, eat what I call a plant-focused diet. So I eat a lot of plants. Vegetables are a big part of my diet, but I also eat meat as a good, source of protein and just kind of on a daily basis. But the reason why I love our vegan is because it is formulated as a meal replacement. So it's more than just protein. It has 9 grams of fiber. It has 7 grams of fat. It's a little bit higher in calories than your standard protein supplement. So it's 200 calories per serving. It also has a vitamin and mineral blend. And compared to other vegan proteins, it goes into solution really well. It's not super chalky. If you compare it to whey, there's a definite difference, but it's just really easy to drink. It's really convenient if I'm on the run because of something, I'm running to go train or I'm running somewhere with my kids and I need something. I can mix it with just water and it mixes super well. And I like that it's a better source of nutrition. So that's, for me, convenience. It tastes good and it's, has a good source of a lot of good nutrients in there.
Yeah. One of my favorite, I love Gnarly Vegan. It's pretty much something I drink on the daily.
And
awesome. It tastes amazing, which is not something that many vegan protein powders can say.
Yeah.
And it's not chalky. The texture is awesome.
Awesome. So. Thanks. I also, as just kind of a little, insider tip, if you guys ever use powdered peanut butter, I'll add like a scoop of powdered peanut butter, which adds about like 6 grams of protein. And also, if you like the taste of peanut butter, it's absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
So also really convenient because it's a powder as well. So if you're, training and you have your protein powder in your bottle and you're just, looking to add water to it and have, your post-workout protein in your car right after, putting a little powdered peanut butter in there as well makes it that much better. It's really good.
Something that I used to do is I would take the vanilla, the vegan, and put it actually in a Costco fruit smoothie for like post-workout. So high carb, high protein. That also is pretty yummy. But
that's good to know.
It's high calorie, but post-workout, it's awesome. Yeah, it's
exactly.
Great.
It's time to get it.
Yep.
And how many grams of protein did you say it was?
So it's 20 grams of protein, and the forms of protein or the sources of protein in that product are pea protein isolate primarily, and then it has a little bit of chia seed and cranberry seed protein to bring up the leucine levels specifically. So that branched chain amino acid that's responsible for helping with muscle repair and synthesis. So plant proteins are typically lower in leucine, but so by using kind of those other forms of protein, we can just bring that level in a serving up a little bit more.
Which is really cool because I don't actually know of any other vegan protein on the market that has a high level of leucine, which, as you said, leucine is actually essential for muscle recovery post-workout. So it's pretty cool it's actually quite amazing that it has higher levels of leucine. It's a complete protein. So
thanks.
Awesome. Anyways, so cool. Well, thanks for sharing that with us and
no problem.
Everybody else. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit about your background in sports. So what have you been involved with in the past, and what are you currently involved in?
Sure. It's kind of a long and storied history. So I was excited to, get the introduction to you guys because you both have backgrounds in bike racing, which I definitely spent a little bit of time doing. In college, actually more accurately in graduate school, I got really interested in racing triathlons. And swimming was kind of the most challenging thing for me. I was never really a swimmer. But I started swimming with a master swim team and quickly met a few road bike racers that also train triathlon. They were like, oh, you should come on group rides with us. And then I was like, wow, this group riding thing and road racing is really interesting, and it helped me get better on the bike. So then I started road racing a bit on the side to everything from, crits to kind of longer stage races. While I was training for triathlons, managed to squeak out an Ironman in Canada, which was great. And also then got interested in kind of more endurance mountain biking, did some cyclocross racing also, just was really obsessed with the kind of endurance events. And that mixed really well with what I was studying in graduate school. Because as you guys know, unless you pay attention to your nutrition, you're really not going to go very far in endurance events. So taking what I knew about research, what I was studying about nutritional physiology, and putting it together with what I love to do was just kind of this interesting mix of everything that I was passionate about. So did the endurance thing for a long time, did some ultra marathons as well. And then after I had my daughter, who's 8 now, and my son, and when I was pregnant with my son, a couple friends from two completely different places had suggested to me that I try jujitsu. And I was kind of intrigued by it. And at Gnarly, we used to do these team building exercises once a month. We need to start it again, but where we would try a different sport, and everybody at Gnarly would try it together. And it was just really fun, new way to do something together as a team and also expose ourselves to different sports. And I fell in love with jiu-jitsu. I'd say obsessively in love. So it's been about 4 years of training and competing with jiu-jitsu. I still ride my mountain bike and I still trail run, but to a much lesser extent. And I probably train jiu-jitsu about 6 days a week, strength train as well, and then compete in that a few times a year.
You're very well-rounded. That's awesome.
I always say that I have SAD, sports attention deficit disorder. It's like, I don't know. I love sport. And I think, it just trying a lot of things. And especially as we age, trying new things, I think it's the secret to success and longevity.
Mm-hmm. Totally. Me and Emily actually met because of triathlons too. We joined the BYU Triathlon Club. And that's how we know each other. But Emily had a background in running, like growing up. Well, we both had backgrounds in running, basically. Yeah. And then after the Tri Club, like we both just transitioned right into cycling. So we haven't quite found our way to jiu-jitsu. I can't say.
Just give it time. You're both young.
Yeah. I'm sure as we get older, we'll dabble in different things.
Yeah. But that sounds like a lot more like power moves, and is that a lot more like high power that you have to do with that compared to endurance sports and cycling?
Yeah, I'd say it's much more anaerobic. So a lot of the moves, especially when you're competing, I think part of it is the hormone dump that you get from grappling or fighting with another person. So it's very similar to wrestling. The rule set's a little bit different. Sometimes people think that there's striking and kicking in jiu-jitsu, and there's none of that. You win by either a point system or by submitting an opponent via a choke or a joint lock. So like an arm bar or an ankle lock or something like that. So there's no striking, but it's still very intense. And so you get kind of that adrenaline going, and there can be a lot of power in the moves. Jiu-jitsu is interesting because it's one of the martial arts that's best for self-defense and best for smaller individuals to take on larger opponents. So there's a big kind of self-defense emphasis for women. who, you don't know who you may be attacked by, and most women are smaller than men. And so using these moves that really rely more on leverage than they do on power can be really effective against kind of larger perpetrators. So
need to learn a little bit more about
that.
Good.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
I just started teaching self-defense through the Elizabeth Smart Foundation. So she started a kind of an arm of her foundation called Smart Defense, and a good friend and training partner of mine is kind of in charge of that. And their groups, basically I think it's a 10-week training course in self-defense based on primarily jiu-jitsu, but also some other martial arts to help women the skills that they need if they were ever in a situation like that.
Very cool. That's awesome. And that's like a local foundation close to home, correct?
It is a local foundation close to home, yeah. So in Utah, but they're looking to expand the program nationwide. So could be, much larger than just in our state. But I think it's a great thing for women, and particularly girls, to kind of just have that base level of skill set. A lot of it has to do with awareness, but I think doing any form of martial arts builds a certain amount of confidence, which I think is a big part of self-defense in general.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'll have to look into that.
Yeah. So we were curious to know kind of your background with nutrition, like kind of your schooling and what got you interested in that and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so I had always been interested in biology. I got really interested in biology in the 7th grade. My first, there was this unit we were doing in school that I hated, and my science teacher said that if we did the science fair, we could get out of doing this computer unit. And so I did the science fair, and my first science fair project was on the effectiveness of preservatives. So like Wonder Bread that has a lot of preservatives versus more naturally baked bread in different environments. So early on, interested in kind of the ingredients of food and whether or not they were necessary. And I think, I've always loved eating, I've always loved cooking, and I've always loved sport. So those things always came together for me. So I went, took a lot of biology in high school, and transitioned to college as a biology major. I came to the U from Virginia. I would say that it was for the school, but I'll be honest and say that the mountains and skiing were a big draw for me.
Definitely.
Yeah, I came out here in high school and just fell in love with the place. Just couldn't believe that you could drive to the mountains and actually touch them. It was, I don't know, they were the largest mountains I'd ever seen. And so I was really excited by how close the university was, and also the fact that the biology program was really a good one. So came out here, studied biology, got really excited about research, found a lab that kind of focused on nutritional physiology more in an ecology setting, and ended up staying for my doctorate in that lab. So my thesis was looking at the physiological and morphological adaptations that allow animals to eat different diets. So whether it's an herbivorous, an omnivorous, or primarily carnivorous diet. And had a ton of fun with that, got to travel a little bit, went to Argentina. And then when I finished, was looking to stay in Utah. So I did a couple postdocs, one looking at how nutrition can affect a lot of the outcomes we see in babies. So this particular condition called intrauterine growth restriction, where you really see the nutrition of the mother and the health of the mother having implications for how the baby then processes foods later on. So worked with a model system to kind of look at the genetics behind that. And then also did some modeling in a different lab looking into how different factors in an individual's life can affect how water is metabolized. So lots of different stuff. Really loved research, was interested in staying in academia, but I just didn't want to leave Utah, to be honest. And so was looking for a way to transition all those things that I talked about I loved into a career that would let me stay here. And the supplement industry is huge here. And I had the idea that I eventually wanted to work for a sports nutrition company, but I didn't really know how to find the right one or have any connections. I had applied to a lot of big name companies, but it didn't really, have my foot in the door anywhere. So I just started working at some supplement companies here in Utah, got a lot of experience in product development, worked at a supplement manufacturer, got a lot of experience on the manufacturing end, which has been indispensable. So looking at product quality and FDA regulations, and then found Gnarly Nutrition through a friend that was an athlete for Gnarly, and wrote them a letter and sent them my resume, just pretty much outlining what I thought I could do for them. And they called me back, and I, contracted for about a year, and then they brought me on full time in product development. And I'm now the COO and CPO of that company.
Nice.
Yeah. So I've worked, it's been about 6 years with Gnarly now. Yeah. And I love every minute of it.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I guess give everybody listening a little bit of background. How old is Gnarly? How long has it been around versus how long have you been there?
Sure. So Gnarly's been around about 7 years. We just changed ownership last year. And we're still a really small company. When I say us, it's about 5 people now. But I came on a little over 5 years ago. So I came on when Gnarly was relatively new, about a year and a half old.
So how has Gnarly changed and developed since you got there? Like, what changes have you seen? And
Sure.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time helping them get kind of control of manufacturing. So really improving manufacturing relationships, making sure we had the correct company in terms of quality manufacturing our products. At one point we had Gnarly never had a ton of proprietary blends in their products, which for those that might not be aware, that's a term for, on the back of some supplements, you'll see kind of some kind of fancy name for a blend, like maybe an adaptogen blend or an anti-inflammation blend. And you'll have, a bunch of ingredients listed under that blend, and you don't necessarily know how much of any individual ingredient is in the blend. You just have a total quantity for the blend. So it's kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's confusing for the consumer because they don't know what they're getting in the product. It's also a way for companies to get around testing for the ingredients in their products, because there's not really anything proprietary about it. If they really had something that was that proprietary, they'd apply for a patent. And so I helped them eliminate those. I've helped them develop about 3 products, the pre-workout, the greens, and the pre-workout, the greens. What's the other product? Well, we're about to launch a couple of products since I've come on.
Secrets.
Yeah, we cleaned up the hydrate a little bit, changed that formulation. We're about 90% through NSF certification, which is a third quality certifying group that qualifies both manufacturers to make sure they're following FDA regulations, but also tests products for label claim and contaminants. And then there's another level of testing that tests for all of the WADA banned substances. So the substances banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency. That's something we've wanted to do forever, but it's extremely costly. And we are now in a financial position where we can afford that. And so we have 2 products that are in testing now, and all the rest of our products have passed. So we're really, really excited about that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
You. Thanks.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. I mean, we've always said, one of our taglines has always been clean sports nutrition. And we've always firmly believed that, but you can understand why a consumer might, take that with a grain of salt. So now to have a third party certification like NSF, which is one of the most prestigious, certifications you can get for supplement quality, feels huge. I mean, we're really excited about it.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thanks.
One of the reasons that I love Gnarly so much is because it's such a clean protein. I use the BCAAs as well, but this is something that is in my everyday. I eat it every day.
Yeah.
And so another thing that's really stand out to me is the ethics and kind of like the sourcing of the proteins that I've been really impressed by. And like you said, it sounds like that's like really important to Gnarly, is that clean, ethically sourced protein.
Yeah, definitely. When the founders, came up with the idea or saw the need for the company, what they really saw was a gap between natural products that had clean ingredients and products that tasted good and had a culture that people were attracted to. So it seemed like a lot of the products that athletes were using were, blue raspberry with like 3 Z's and, had a bunch of artificial colors and flavors and sweeteners in them. And the products that you would buy at a natural food store, one had kind of that natural brown, not very exciting feel to them. And secondarily, didn't really taste very good. And so it seemed like they kind of got around trying to make their products appealing because they were natural. It was like, oh, well, it's natural. It doesn't have to taste good. And so they really wanted to make a product where those two things met. So that had natural ingredients, that had a fun culture behind the brand, and that also made taste a priority. And that's what we try to do with all of our products. When I formulate a product, I start with a need, so what is lacking in our line? What do our athletes need? What could help people in, a particular sport or group of sports? I go to the research. So what does the research say? What ingredients make sense for a product like this? Can we even include effective dosages in our product? Some ingredients might make sense, but because of cost or because of dose, there's no way you could put it in a supplement. And then thirdly, can we make the product taste good so that people are actually going to want to take it? And that's the thought process that we take with all the new products we develop.
Yeah.
Cool. So the founders, were they did they have like a nutrition sort of background, or did they just want to create a product?
Yeah, so they didn't have a nutrition background. They were athletes. And so at that, for which I'd say food was important and the quality of food was important.
Right.
So they knew what they wanted. Luckily, they early on made some good connections that had a little bit more nutrition background. Prior to my coming online, they were pointed in the right direction, and really lucky that way.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Let me see here. I think that's most of our questions we had. I guess one, what are some challenges? Like you've talked about a few, but what are some challenges that you guys have had to overcome? It sounds like you're a small business, but growing. Are there any challenges that you guys have had that you've overcome?
Yeah, so definitely. I think one of the big challenges I think a lot of supplement companies have to overcome is this, because the word supplement kind of leaves a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. I think a lot of people associate it with companies that are trying to pull the wool over your eyes or trying to like trick you into taking a product that you don't really need. And Gnarly, very much like any athlete that I work with, one of the things I get to do too is help our athletes with their nutrition. And any athlete I work for, the first thing I say is like, we're a whole foods first company. Like our products are supplements because they're meant to be supplemental. Like never, if you have time to eat a full meal, you should eat a full meal. If you are able to get, for example, BCAAs, if you eat protein and high quality protein in an optimal way, you might not need BCAAs in your diet. But the amount of people that I know that eat that way are very few. And so BCAAs could make sense. So trying to show people that, one, we don't put ingredients in our products unless they're backed by science. Two, we're not making outrageous claims about how any of our products are going to make you an Olympic runner. Obviously, like, we hope that nutrition, we can be a small part of that equation, if those are your hopes and dreams, but really it's you putting in the work that's going to, get you to your goal, not taking our product. So we try to be really honest about that. We try to make education an important mission. So when we educate, we don't educate about gnarly products, we educate about nutrition knowledge. So about protein, about what BCAAs can do for you. Try to make it not a sales pitch, and hopefully through that honesty, we gain fans and we gain customers that trust our brand.
Hey, by the way, I love the BCAA. It's like a raspberry flavor. I think it's so good.
Berry lemonade. I do too. Thank you. Good. Yeah, that's what I think. You guys asked me for my favorite products, and I think I said the vegan vanilla and the berry lemonade BCAA. Yep. So I'm there with you.
Those are probably our favorites too. I think yours is the BCAAs, and I like the vegan vanilla. So
perfect. And then, I think a lot of the other problems we have are not unique to us. It's just being a small business. So, it's great when sales go up and we sell through product, but that means we need to buy more product, which represents like a lot of capital or a lot of money that we have to put into that purchase. And so, it's a very much without a bunch of external funding, which we historically have not had. It was a very like touch and go situation where we do well and then we'd have to buy more product and then funds would be low. But we have had pretty consistent growth since Gnarly has been around. The state of Utah and customers in Utah, athletes in Utah have always been supportive of our brand. We are mountain athletes, and historically the customers that we've reached out to or the audience we've reached out to has been mountain athletes. And we early on were embraced by the climbing community. And I'd say we pretty much built a niche for supplement use in rock climbers. Prior to that, no companies were really talking to that audience at all. And I think in the last 5 years, particularly in climbing, but in other sports as well, you're really getting an emphasis on how important training and nutrition can be to performance. And so really being able to talk to climbers specifically and to other audiences and have people realize that we're their peers. We're talking to them in a language they understand because we are one of them. That's been super helpful.
Mm-hmm. So all of our cyclist friends support Gnarly. Awesome local protein.
I actually first found out about you guys through Plan 7 because I think they I went to a clinic by Brianne Nalder, who I think she uses your products and was handing out samples, and so.
Oh, that's awesome.
Hopefully we can help the cyclist niche grow a little bit.
That'd be great. We, for a long time, our products have always been majority either like pre-workout or post-workout. Our hydrate is really about replacing what you lose in sweat. So replacing water effectively, replacing electrolytes. But we've always had this gap where, people want a fuel, and particularly for cycling, being able to get your electrolytes, your calories all in one bottle makes a ton of sense. And so, over the past few months, that's what we've been developing is basically a new version of our hydrate that also has calories in it and a few other differences. And we were going to launch it pretty much at the end of this summer. But with, the current pandemic, we're doing great as a company. We're not in any kind of financial hardship currently. But we also want to be really careful with where we spend money And so it doesn't, and with a number of races being canceled, it doesn't feel like the right time to launch this product. So we're actually going to hold off and launch that probably in spring of 2021. But that was the idea, is like, when we launch this product, like, we're going to embrace cyclists and ultra runners and all those endurance athletes for which it really makes more sense and is way more convenient to be able to get an all-in-one fuel and electrolyte replacement. And I'm super excited for that product to release. We've done some testing with athletes. We have an ultra runner, Trevor Fuchs, who went out and did the Hurt 100. It's a 100-mile race in Hawaii. And once again, it's not because of our product, but he won. And
Trevor's impressive.
He's amazing. Yeah, he is. So he used our new product exclusively for his fuel, beyond like 1 or 2 goos, that entire race. So for me, it was like, okay, somebody used this for 20 hours. He had no gut distress. He felt great. His energy levels felt great. So it was a wonderful kind of test for us with how the product could perform. Everybody's different, you know. Tailwind is another great product, and some people can do great on Tailwind, and some people, you know, get stomach upset and end up throwing up. Like, everyone is different, and I fully believe that. But it was a good test for us on kind of the efficacy, the flavor, like whether he got taste fatigue, how he felt during it, if he needed more electrolytes, and it passed with flying colors. So I'm super psyched to release that. Sad that we have to postpone it, but.
Well, we'll look forward to it.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So I think we probably need to get things wrapped up a little bit.
Sure.
So we do have some rapid fire questions. Actually, before we go to that, we wanted to ask you, you had talked about it a little bit at the beginning, but what is your personal philosophy on nutrition and your everyday eating?
Yeah. So I try to, I think I said I'm a plant-focused eater. So I try to make vegetables and fruits, but primarily vegetables, part of every meal that I eat. I try to, similar to our products, source really high quality ingredients. You know, we get our vegetables from a community-supported agriculture group. We buy our meat from a local farm. I believe in that, both in terms of supporting local economy, but I also just believe you're getting a higher quality and a healthier product. But I also feel like there's room for chocolate chip cookies, and you know, I've got kids, and I want them to have a healthy relationship with food, and that I think involves eating all foods and just understanding the importance of hunger cues and the importance of moderation, and just enjoying it, and enjoying taking the time to cook and taking the time to eat.
Yeah, I love that. I have a similar approach to eating. And do you mind if I ask, what's that farm that you get your locally sourced meat from?
It's Blue Tree Farms.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, one of our goals with this podcast is to help support and grow local companies, and
we're actually here. Emily works at Fazari. We're here in the Fazari warehouse. They just started in Linden, so thank you to Fazari for letting us record here.
Yeah, it's great.
So, but just to end, we have some rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
So Elise is gonna get those for you.
Okay. This one's to go along with the last one, but what's your favorite meal that you make personally?
Probably enchiladas. So I have this sweet potato, black bean enchilada dish that I really like. And you make the enchilada sauce. It's a lot easier than you would think, but it's just really good. Yeah.
Yum.
I'll have to get the recipe.
Yeah, you'll have to share that with us.
I will.
Okay.
Okay. If you were a macronutrient, which one would you be? You've never been asked that before, have you?
No, I haven't, but I love it. I'd probably be protein, because it's a builder, not a fuel. I feel like I'm more of a builder.
That's awesome.
All right. What's your favorite onomatopoeia?
Oh gosh. Remind me what an onomatopoeia is.
I know. Like, it's like sounds that are words, like bang, crash, boom.
I have no idea. I mean, of the ones you just, I don't know. I like, I don't know. Crash, I don't like so much because I'm getting like visions of crashing on my mountain bike.
Pow. Like, I don't know.
Because I get visions of superheroes and
Yeah.
Wonder Woman beating up a bad guy.
Yeah.
The one I think of is like bloop.
You would be bloop, please. Bloop.
That's awesome.
All right. Who is your favorite athlete?
Okay.
Or at least one that you really admire.
Yeah. Who's my favorite athlete? I mean, I'm trying to think of a better known athlete. I mean, one of my favorite athletes is a female jiu-jitsu athlete. Her name's Fionn Davies, and she's from Ireland. And she's my favorite athlete not because of her winning, although she's killing it right now in jiu-jitsu. She's just very honest and very herself. And I appreciate that in athletes. I think, with social media, especially, we get kind of these pre-packaged, perfect people. And often you can't really see the real person behind that. And so whenever I can instantly tell that someone's being authentic, that's attractive to me. And that's what I really like about her. And she gives it her all. And you can just tell every time she gets on the mat, she gives it everything she has.
I love that.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Well, that concludes our questions.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for your time. We loved meeting with you. And is there anything, if you had to leave our listeners with one takeaway, what would you say?
I would say that, try to get outside every day, do what you love, move your body. And that can mean a bunch of different things for different people. It can mean getting on trails, it can mean road running, it can mean riding your bike, it can mean doing jiu-jitsu, but just get outside and move and do what makes you happy.
Yeah. I love that. All right, Shannon. Cool. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. I really appreciate it. It was super fun to chat.
Yeah, you too.
Okay.
So, all right.
Take care.
Have a good one. Stay
safe. Stay healthy. All right. Bye.
Bye.